the Nigerian Exchange Clearing Limited plays a crucial role in ensuring ease of transactions in the market, especially that of exchange-traded funds and other derivatives. Joining me to discuss this is Farouk Oreagba, the Managing Director and the CEO designate of NG Clearing, a subsidiary of the Nigerian Exchange Group. We appreciate your coming in tonight. This is our first time in the new year, so let's just have this.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Let's put it there. Gabi, let's talk about the market. And you know, of course, we're both market professionals. So, how is the evolution of exchange-traded funds progressing in Nigerian space as we see the equities market soaring on a day-to-day basis throughout 2023 into the early part of the new year now?
Okay, thanks, Bosun. First of all, NG Clearing is an investee company, not a subsidiary, but is an investee company of the Nigerian, of NGX.
Investee?
They're our biggest shareholder, but they don't own us completely. They're the biggest shareholder, but they're other shareholders.
I get it.
Okay. In terms of the development of derivatives in the Nigerian capital market, it's been a long time coming. To the best of my knowledge, it started as early as 2008, when the NGX started looking at derivatives markets and putting infrastructure in place. Subsequently, you had other exchanges come on with derivatives. You had FMDQ go online in 2013. AFEX came online in 2014. All of these are geared towards derivatives. You have to understand, derivatives actually do form a very, very important part of the investment ecosystem. We have a variety of players in that market. You have institutional investors, you have individual investors, mums and pops, you have hedgers, you have arbitrageurs, speculators. So when you bring that mix together, it performs a different role to each different of those groups. Yes. So what we've been trying to do is create that ecosystem so that derivatives themselves can actually start to add value and deepen the Nigerian capital markets. We're getting there. NG Clearing is what we call a financial market infrastructure company. And what we do is we sit in the middle of transactions. We de-risk transactions in order to enable them be executed. We do this by managing counterparty risk. We take on the risk, so we become the buyer to every seller, the seller to every buyer. It sounds ominous, but if done properly, it's an essential part of any capital markets ecosystem. And we are getting there, and these are exciting times. Since we last spoke, we've seen a lot of foreign investors leave the country. We will hopefully the deepening of this market will allow them to come back. There is a little bit of illiquidity in terms of the average traded volumes. I'm just talking about the NGX now. Yes. But we're taking steps in the right directions. And in terms of the government policies, in order to develop the economy and boost the Nigerian economy to a certain target by, I think, 2030, derivatives will play a particular role. Even in the food security space you were talking about earlier on, derivatives will play a crucial role. So these are exciting times.
Exciting times. So what should investors look out for in that space, briefly?
Well, on a quick note, NG Clearing, we're working with several exchanges. We perform the same function to any exchange, not just NGX, AFEX, any exchange. Talking about the Nigerian capital markets, on NGX in particular, derivatives were launched, I think, in April 2022, maybe a little bit rushed, but a few lessons have been learned from there. There are currently two derivatives contracts out there based on two indices. And at the moment, there's a real great push by NGX to enlighten investors about the opportunities available. We're on board, we're creating a lot of liquidity. So I'll give you an example. When I joined NG Clearing in September last year, there were 3 trading license holders, effectively stockbrokers, accredited by the exchange. Now we have 10. So what that does is it creates liquidity, it creates a bigger pool. And hopefully, having met with the NGX yesterday, we're looking at hopefully getting about another 15, making it 25. That's in the near term. In the long term, once we've finished this sensitization and training, there's a lot of training taking place for regulators, for institutions. PenCom, NG Clearing and NGX were training PenCom last week. We're taking training for a lot of the stockbrokers, trading license holders. Once that is done, then this is the exciting phase. The next phase would be the launch of single stock futures on names like Dangote Cement, MTN, Access Bank, GT.
That's going to be a new.
It's a new thing. It's a new thing coming.
Yeah.
Even also, just while we're on it, AFEX, the exchange, are looking to launch commodity futures in Q2. This is new. This has never been done.
Wow. So individual and institutional investors have something new to sink their teeth into.
Absolutely. But you see, you have to understand this. You know, people always talk about the upside. Derivatives
have challenges.
They're very volatile. By their very nature, because of their gearing effect, people assume you can make a lot of money, but you can also lose a lot of money. For institutional investors, derivatives allow them to enter markets with ease, where there's no, without distorting the market, where there's a lot of illiquidity. It allows them to hedge their portfolios, to manage their portfolio risk. For speculators or individual investors, I'll give you a quick example. We were looking at one of the indices today, the NGX 30. It closed today at about, the NGX 30 futures expiring in March, closed at about 3868. At the 29th of December, they had closed at 2834. Now, anyone who had bought that on the 29th of December had put down 10% margin, which was about 283,000 naira, would have, as of today, would have made a profit of over 1 million naira. People remember that, but I have to say there's caution, because you could easily have lost that and more.
Yes. Yes.
Although we wouldn't have allowed you to lose it, because that's where NG Clearing comes in. Okay. If the margin's not there, would have closed you out a long time. We manage risk. So they're exciting times, increased pool of assets, hopefully bring a lot of investors back. And even ahead, it allows investors to come back and dip their toes. So I'll give you another example. A lot of investors went away. There's been all this talk about investors who couldn't repatriate their funds and so on and so forth. We're talking to some of those guys to come back. You don't need to bring $50 million to come and get exposure to GT, blah, blah, blah. For a fraction of that. Margin is normally about 10%. So instead of $50 million, for $5 million, you can get the same exposure, which also means you don't have to take the same FX risk that you're worried about. So it's a hard sell. There are other things involved, but these are very, very exciting times. And I'm actually, having been away for a while, I'm actually looking forward to it. You know me, I like trouble.
I know. And that's what keeps the market going for those of you who are the market gentlemen. Thank you so much. We've got to touch base once again as we see some of these new products come on stream.
It will be my pleasure to come on board and tell people.
Of course, this is the Arise Exchange. This is where to talk about the market. We talk about the market here all the time. Thank you.
Market and me, we go hand in hand.
I know. The Siamese twins.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.